A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us for the show. Tonight is the first one for the week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Let me give you a quick rundown of what we're looking at tonight. We're going to be talking about basketball. Of course, we already know the teams in our group, but the draws have been made, so we know the sequence with which we're going to play the teams at the Olympics for the D Tigers, for the D Tigress, and of course the rankings as well. We get us talking on the show tonight. We'll also spare a thought for African football politics. We'll talk about it. We're expecting to get a decision from the Court of Arbitration for Sports on the case brought by CAF President Ahmad. But before we got into the studio, we've not received any information. Of course, CAS promised earlier to make a quick judgment so that, it could be decided whether or not Ahmad could feature in the elections as well. As we speak, currently a game going on in the English Premier League. Manchester City having a chance to go 15 points clear at the top of the table if they can beat Wolverhampton Wanderers tonight in the English Premier League. We'll also talk about Formula One, what's happening with Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes has a new car. Lewis Hamilton is still talking about diversity and racial equalities. We're talking about all of those issues. We talk about what's happening with Barcelona as well. We'll spare a thought for Barcelona. A lot of it's happening at the new camp. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll not forget Aaron Okodri, what's going to happen in Doha. We'll talk about him as well. Then, of course, we'll also talk about tennis. As a matter of fact, we'll start the show tonight with tennis. Talk about Roger Federer and the things happening at the Rotterdam Open. That's what the show's going to look like tonight. Let me bring you into all that we're doing on the show. We've always told you how important you are to us. We want your feedback. What do you think we should be talking about? Let's feel your pulse on all the things happening in the world of sports. Fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. Let's know how you feel about some of these issues. Get across to us. Send us a mail, sports@channelstv.com, on Facebook, Channels for Sports, then on Twitter, that verified handle that we talk about. The conversation never ends right there, at @channels_sports. Let's keep it going on the show tonight. Send us a tweet, and of course, we will do our best to read your tweets. At some point, we expect our man, Austin Okon-Akman, to join us and of course, give us his thoughts on some of these issues that we have talked about. But let me quickly introduce my partner in the Lagos studio with me tonight. Kehinde Idris is with me. Kehinde Idris, I want to thank you for making our time to be here tonight. And I'm always happy to have you because, especially on a day when there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, especially on a day when there's a lot to talk about. And also, it's always nice doing this with you. I always love the rundown. So I'm waiting, we'll get into digging into it today's.
But first, let's just let you know what's going on in the English Premier League. Of course, a goal was scored in the 19th minute. Manchester City up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And the guys with me in the studio already say, let's just hand this trophy to Manchester City. It appears like and nobody's going to catch up with them. If they win this game, they'll be 15 points clear. It looks like it's done and dusted. And I'm very sure Idris agrees with me.
I totally do agree. On the lighter note, when we're checking, got the score. It was an own goal from a Man City, from a Wolverhampton.
And we are joking that...
Yes, of everything to happen to you against Man City down the road, is scoring an own goal. Because they will still get their own goal. It's making it more difficult. But the reality is that when Man City gets in this row, there was even an argument over the weekend, yesterday, that Man City Bayern, which is the better team in the world today. But Bayern, with the showing Club World Cup, winning several cups. But people are saying playing football and you're watching. I think Man City are in a sublime, form. And when it gets into this mood, almost nothing can stop them. And they are enjoying it all the way.
All right, for those who are purists, for those who see football as an art form, I think a Bayern Manchester City final in the UEFA Champions League will appeal to them. But you never can tell. You never can tell. Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen. But let me quickly ask Austin. I don't want us to dwell too much on this, but Idris has brought up something very interesting. So City a goal up, but a lot of people, when they talk about City, they're talking about Bayern in the same breath. I don't know if you're one of those who say, let's just settle this by having a situation where we can see both of them play.
No, it will be good. It will be good, but Manchester City needs to, pay their dues in Europe. This is not the English Premier League when you're talking about Europe. Bayern Munich have walked through that road. That rope. They've paid their dues. They've demolished. They've destroyed teams from Arsenal to Chelsea to Real Madrid to Barcelona. I love what Pep is doing with Manchester City, no doubt, but we still need to see more from them in Europe. I agree with you that what is going on with the game against Wolves. Unfortunately, that was an own goal by Leander. But Manchester City, give them all the respect here. I don't really know what to say about that team because as at March day 10, before Pep renewed his contract, we were saying what's going on with this team. Just look at them today. Just look at them. That's a winning team over and over again. The depth, the attitude, their philosophy of play, how they win the ball back when they lose it, how everyone can score a goal in that team from defenders, leave the goalkeeper. In fact, most times the attack starts with the goalkeeper. Yeah, fantastic team.
All right, fantastic. I agree with you. So we'll see whether fate will be kind to us and allow us to see Manchester City and Bayern so that we can just settle this for once and move on with our lives. Yeah. And people start talking about if and what if. Okay. I don't really like that in football. But guys, let's come home. Let's stay home for a while and talk about football on the domestic scene. Let's talk about the NPFL. Let's take a look at rescheduled matches for tomorrow. Let's run through that. Then we take a look at MFM. Some say they were a bit lucky yesterday, but it was a priceless goal, and they won that game. These are the fixtures. Plus United will take on Rivers United. Warri Wolves taking on Enyimba International, the Aba Elephants. Then you have Dakada taking on Wiki Tourists. These are rescheduled matches that will be played tomorrow. All right, but guys, let's quickly come to Lagos and talk about that game. I'm going to get your thoughts, and I'm going to take reactions from the manager of MFM and Nasarawa United. But let me start with you, Idris. Your thoughts? Slim 1-0 victory was well celebrated.
It was well celebrated
by the guys from MFM.
You know, there is sometimes you get into some gear and you don't want to leave that gear because it helps you. Everybody around the setup feels this is the gear we are in and we can go all the way. Started with Adamawa 2-0. I think that was the first win after the whole in-house
drama, house cleaning, purging, whatever we want to call it.
And then they went away to Katsina, got an away point. And then Nasarawa came visiting. Whether it's slim, whether it's very thin, whether it's
a win is a win.
A win is a win. 3 points standing. And look at what that 3 point did to MFM. Because as of playing Katsina, MFM were 16th on the log. But after beating Nasarawa, they shot from 16th to 9th. You can imagine the projection right there. So it helps you on the table. Then it helps your mentality going forward. And this is the road they find themselves. You want to make your home a fortress so that even if it is hard enough to get points away, you can complement on points that you get away. And Nasarawa, I think I'm more worried for a team that that was on top of the table for a while and was doing beautiful.
Week 6, week 7?
Yes. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like we're not seeing that. And it also also goes to Rivers United. Both teams were giving us good football, good results at the start of the season, and both teams look like they've slowed down on their momentum.
Okay, let me see if Austin agrees with you. MFM won, no doubt about it. That's not the issue. But Nasarawa United, things have turned around. And it seems that they're sliding down. But of course, there's still a lot of time for teams to change. But from where we stand, that's the way it appears. But your thoughts on the game, and maybe spare a little thought for what's happening with Nasarawa United.
I think Nasarawa United, it's a mentality issue, more of a rush of blood to the brain after what happened to them at the opening of the season. Everyone talking about them, everyone saying, "Oh, is this team going to be the surprise package of the season?" And then they lost one, then they lost another one, and they lost again. Picks themselves back up by getting that late. Adamawa, and they lost or drew that match. Coach Balan Nikyu, I think, has done a decent job with this team. If you look at the Nasarawa United team, they're the sort of team that on a good day, they can get their points. But I think it's just a mentality stuff. But they've won 6. I mean, that's why it's good to start well. And they are 6th on the log with 20 points. But then again, if you check it, they've lost 5 and they've drawn 2. And that's not really good because the season is still young. We've just played 13 matches. So it's a good one for MFM with all of the crises that they're trying to, get back. They needed to win that one, their 4th win of the season. The Agege Stadium has been a good place for them to win until Heartland came there to, spoil the groove and they're beginning to pick themselves back up now. So let's still say these are early days. I think Nasarawa will pick themselves back up properly. And then at the end of the day, they can actually do some good with their campaign.
All right. At the end of the day, we'll see what will happen. It's just match day 13, like Austin said. Let's take the reaction of managers from both sides, the immediate reaction after the game. Then we come back to talk about women's football, a little bit of basketball as well. But first, let's listen to what both managers had to say immediately after that game played at the Soccer Temple yesterday.
But I can say I'm so glad, I'm happy. Kudos to my boys, they give it all and we get the 3 points. In the board, I have to let them know that this is a cup final and we have nothing to lose than to just win the game. Irrespective of any goals comes and they listen to me, I have to motivate them that Nassau United, we are bigger than them. Go on them, we get our goal, and the goal comes.
We didn't do well as long as the game is concerned because you cannot do well and lose and then you say you did well. You can only do well, even if you didn't do well and you win, it's still as good as doing well. Nothing was wrong. If you watch the game, you discover that there was an ill-luck attached with the game. If not, we played the game, and it's not a team that you say maybe there was a kind of overpowering or whatever. This team it's not a team. If anybody say we are going to lose this game, maybe from outside I can bet it, but that is the game for you.
All right, both managers having their say after the game. All right, let's cross over to the ladies, spend a little time with the ladies as well. And we do that by looking at match day 8 fixtures for the ladies. We look at it quickly, and the guys will tell me what they think in a minute or two, and we'll talk about some of the other things we have to talk about as well. So let's go straight and look at it. FC Robo will be taking on Dream Stars ladies, game of 2 Lagos teams. Rivers Angels will take on Royal Queens. Sunshine Queens will take on Pelican Stars. Nasarawa Amazons will take on Oshun Babes. Bayeso Queens will take on Ibom Angels. Confluence Queens will take on Abia Angels. Delta Queens will take on Edo Queens. 7 matches to be played across the nation in the NWFL Premiership. Match day 8. It is Katie. Your thoughts?
Of course,
2 Lagos teams.
Of course,
definitely it's going to be your first pick.
It will be starting from there. If I had my way, it would have been big sister. Let the younger one, have a bite out of the cherry, an opportunity too. But
football is not charity.
It's not charity, and also FC Roba have got they're ambitious. They've got they also have goals. They are not the biggest team in the NPFL. And they are in the NWFL, and they are looking to do that. When you're looking at Rivers Angels just in sight, you don't want to, start donating out points or doing charity at this time. As much as they are good, they are playing so well, these are games that they go into feeling, okay, this is like 3 points before we start to play in the bag.
It's easy pickings.
It's easy picked and easy peasy, and we hope it happens that way. But for Dream Stars, I don't know where the season will start, but it's good. It's a good learning curve. They are a new team, and they are saying, okay, probably you're thinking it's a joke when you're out there. Now you're in there. You can see that the hits in the kitchen is so serious. For other games, Rivers going up against Royal Queens, I always love to watch Rivers Angels, not because there is something about them. I love a team that is huge and shows it on every match day. And that is what Rivers Angels does. But I also love, the lower team story where you come up against the big team, you steal the point, and then you get into
stuff you're made of.
And some teams, they just need to beat one of these big teams, and they start believing in themselves, man. You see more from them. Also, Delta against Edo Queens, and then Bayosa against Ibom Angels. That's another game. Bayosa Queens against Ibom Angels. Always huge for me. And I know of course, Austin would also be looking forward to that.
Okay. Okay. I won't say the reason why.
It's not banter.
Okay. All right. I think it'd be only fair to get Austin's thoughts so that it doesn't appear that I'm prejudiced. Austin, your thoughts in a minute if you can. Let's talk about the ladies.
I think it's going to be good. So far, it's been a tale of Rivers Angels and Bayelsa Queens in the league. FC Robo also trying to make a statement. I think it'll be good to see them go against Dream Stars. There'll be a lot for Dream Stars to learn from that one. And maybe an opportunity for Coach Emmanuel Osahon to, do some poaching in that Dream Stars team. If you impress, you might just be finding your way to FC Robo. I'm sure some of the Dream Stars girls will have that in mind. But in all, I think we're going to see good football. Rivers Angels, they're on a roll. Governor has really motivated that team. Still unbeaten this season in the Women's League. They'll take on Royal Queens, and I'm calling it straight win for them in that one. Bayelsa Queens are on top of the table. They're also enjoying a ride. And Ibom Angels have been struggling. Put coach on indefinite suspension. So momentum is low on their side. Going to Yanagua to play Bayelsa Queens is a lot of difficulty for them. So I'm also calling that one for Bayelsa Queens. We're just going to see. I love the fact that at the Women's League, they're taking it one step at a time. Look at how slowly they are going. They're not competing with anyone. They say, do COVID test. You don't do it. They suspend you. They suspend cases are coming up. They suspend their league. The ladies are showing us how to manage success, and I love it so much.
All right, I agree with you. The way since we're talking about women's football, let's just quickly listen to someone who knows a lot about football administration, and he's talking about a lot of it. Danny Jordan featured him on the program last week. He's been talking about what he thinks Africa should do for women's football and the approach that the continent should take when it comes to the positioning of CAF in global affairs. Let's listen to SAFA president, the South African Football Association president, Danny Jordan, bear his mind on these issues.
And some of them are millionaires, may have produced the first women football millionaires in this country. Country is not focusing there. Even on the African continent, I think women football's achievements, Nigeria is one of them, and that's why I agree with the candidate for CAF president, that the first African team to win the World Cup would be a woman national team. If you can see the ranking and you see the performance, and I will not be surprised. And we are in the top three. It is Nigeria and South Africa number 3. So one of us will win the World Cup. Don't ask me when Bafana is going to win the World Cup, but we will win the Women's World Cup with Banyana long before Bafana makes it into a final. That is a guaranteed. And I thank the minister because of the tremendous support for women's football. And when you see the ladies, when they come back, you ask them where they live now, what car they drive now. Their lives have been transformed, not only their lives, but the lives of their family. It is a wonderful success story of women's football and football in the country. And when they come back, I think they must speak more to the journalists because some of them don't want to talk. I said, don't talk about your money that you have. But if a player in Europe earns 20,000 euros or 40,000 euros, that's 200,000 or 400,000 rand a month. Their lives have changed. And so we can do more by investing in women's football. Their return on their investment is far greater than the 65 men we have in Europe, all struggling to be in the starting lineup. The women, they play for AC Milan. They're in the starting lineup. They play in Spain in the biggest clubs. They're in the starting lineup. The men, we are struggling. So a return on investment, I think the corporate South Africa should look again, where the investment brings huge returns.
All right. I don't think there's anything to add to what Danny Jordana said. If I allow my partners on the show, we'll probably finish the show talking about women's football. But Danny Jordana has painted a picture. And, I mean, basically, all he's saying is if we invest in women's football, where you know, we're going to reap the benefits. And he says we're likely going to win the World Cup with the women. We're likely our best chance to win the World Cup probably lies with the ladies. And I think I agree with him. But I hope the leaders on the continent are listening, and hopefully they get to do the right thing. All right, let's quickly move, because of our time, let's move on and talk about basketball and talk about the rankings. Gets us talking on the show. It's going to come up on your screen. Nigeria's D Tigers have retained the #1 spot in Africa, and they're on the 20th position in the world among basketball-playing nations. That's heartwarming. Of course, we still have issues with our game or the domestic scene. That you cannot sugarcoat that. It's there. That's the truth. But we're the best team in Africa, according to the FIBA rankings of basketball-playing nations, 20th in the world. Let's talk about the ladies as well. Their female counterparts, D Tigers, they dropped 3 spots, but retained their #1 spot in Africa. That's good to know, and it's heartwarming. The best basketball team, male, female, belongs to Nigeria. Of course, it still worries me that the development on the domestic scene is not at par with the national team. But there is no denying that our national teams are doing very well. Let me go to Austin. I don't know if you agree with my summation on all of this. On one side, I'm happy with the rankings, but I'm not happy with what's happening on the domestic scene. Not blaming anybody, though, but I would just want us to sort ourselves out.
Blame. It's okay to blame. It's okay to say why we're suffering, for that, because it starts at home, because we've seen quality basketball come out of the league until some leadership, took over. And that's selfish, reason for me, because people are holding the soul of basketball, giving us the sort of progress that we should see. D Tigers, we've seen them go to competitions and prove themselves. D Tigers won the Afro Basket back-to-back, went to the World Championship, giving Nigeria a good representation. You want to see that level of progress. I keep saying it's not about winning, it's sustaining the momentum. You want to see it back home. You want to see it in developmental programs. You want to see it in the league. You want to see people aspiring from home and then going abroad and then coming back, to give back to the system that made them. So it's just sad that we're not seeing that level of progress. But hey, we love the rankings. We're dominating Africa. It's very good for the D Tigers as they get ready for the Afro Basket in August. They should just go there and say, everybody, clear way, and then win that competition. The D Tigers all day, every day. Just like Danny Jordan said with women's football, that men, hey, stop trying. That he knows that it's the women's team that can go on to the... I can also say the same for the female basketball team. We love them. We're proud of them. But let's do more.
All right, let's do more. Idris?
I totally agree with us.
You're probably going to re-echo everything.
It's just, I think maybe we see these things and some persons in charge of, making these right decisions probably are seeing some other things, or they see beyond what we are seeing seated here. I want to give them that they see even deeper and way further than we are seeing. But we can see what these ladies have been able to. They are outright conquerors when it comes to the local and international.
Let's take a pause on that. There's a lot to talk about, but we need to go on a break. When we come back from that break, we'll be on the home stretch. We're going to be wrapping up the show, but of course, we're going to tell you what's happening in the English Premier League. And if we have time, we'll also give you a slice of Formula 1. But we need to go on that break right about now and come back for more Sports Tonight. Kenny, let me allow you finish what you're saying. We're pressed for time, but it's only fair I allow you finish up.
I just want to say, when someone or a setup does well, I think the only thing we can do is give more to that, to that setup, to even see more. Yeah. And I think the ladies, we will go back to what Danny Jordan said. He's stating the obvious. It is there, and it's almost so. You can go back to 1990s. where our ladies have, been in the quarterfinal of a World Cup, and we're talking of the male, we're still begging, still begging whatever it is to even achieve that. You can go as far as 1990s. And this is what, yes, and this, I don't want to use 1999. My sound is not 1990s. That is how long ago they've done that. It is what it is. We put in more than we get more out of these ladies. And it's same with basketball. We put in more, we get more. I think the ladies, the reason why sometimes I come here, celebrate them, the NWFL is one of the things I get to sing and all of that, because I'm seeing them putting in more, giving out more, and I want to see more.
All right. Hopefully we'll get to see more. Hopefully the administrators will heed our call and invest more on the domestic scene, football, basketball, across all sports. All sports can give us joy. Yep. All sports can help us generate income. Sports is, there's a lot of money in sports if we do it the right way and stop seeing sports as philanthropy, throwing money at people. It's never going to work. All right, let's go to Austin's end before we allow him go. But first, let's see a confirmation of the results. I know Austin is taking a sneak peek at what is going on between Manchester City and Wolverhampton Wanderers. But let's quickly see the result. There should be halftime by now. So there you go. Still 1-0 at the Etihad. Manchester City 1-0. Halftime, I guess, at this point. So we'll see what happens. But Wolverhampton Wanderers not making it easy for themselves. Let's go to Austin now. Quickly, Austin, before we let you go, you think, I know you've seen a little of this game. Do you think Wolves can come back?
They're looking so, we're just approaching halftime in the 40th minute of play. They showed some improvement. Adama Traore collected the ball in midfield and put some threats out there, gave some trouble to Manchester City. And right after the Manchester City also on the attack. But I'm a little bit worried for City. If it was another team by now, it would have been 3-0. It's still 1-0. Wolves, on a day like this, they might start having ideas. They're another decent team that can start anybody. So let's see what Nuno will say to his team when they go on the break and then come back to see if they can hurt Manchester City. But is it possible? I don't think so.
I like that. That's a good place to leave it. Austin, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Hopefully we get to do this later in the week.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Yemi. Always a delight to be on the show. Take care, guys.
All right, so that's it. Our man Austin Okonakpan giving us his thoughts. Before we go, matches to be played in the English Premier League tomorrow. Let's take a look at it and allow Kehinde Idris to give us his thoughts as we wrap things up here in the Lagos studio. English Premier League matches to be played tomorrow. Some very interesting matches. Burnley will take on Leicester City. Sheffield United will take on Aston Villa. Crystal Palace will take on Manchester United. I don't know if it's still fair to call Manchester United title contenders, but they do still have a mathematical chance. In a minute, if you're going to make a call in those games, quickly, 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm scared for Leicester. I'm seeing Burnley getting something from this game. And Leicester don't want to hear that they want all 3 points, but I'm seeing Burnley taking something.
They're dealing with a lot of injuries.
Yes, dealing with a lot of injuries and even dealing with a lot of mindset. Also, the Sheffield-Aston Villa game, I'm rooting for Aston Villa. Maybe a bit of bias and a bit of unfairness in the side of Sheffield. But I'm seeing Aston Villa getting all 3 points in this. And for Crystal Palace, Manchester United, it's looking like a banana peel already.
All right, so that's it. Kehinde has told us what he thinks would happen in the games. So we'll leave it at that. So that's the show tonight. We do hope that you've enjoyed everything we've brought to you. Before I go, let me say a big thank you to Kehinde Idris for finding time to be here tonight.
Yeah, it's good. It's good always to be here to do this.
We'll do this again next week.
Of course.
All right. Austin was with us earlier. Thanks to him as well. And I want to say thank you to you as well for allowing us into your living rooms without knocking on the door. It's a privilege we'll never take for granted. Thank you. We'll be here again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.